Most leaders get this wrong. The reality is, we rarely teach leaders how to handle the moments that feel like loss or rejection to your team. So how do you kill a project that your team loves without killing their motivation? Or worse, how do you kill that project when you can't even share the reason why? Most leadership advice doesn't cover this type of hard conversation. So today, we're stepping into that blind spot and breaking down how high-performing leaders say no without killing morale. I'm Tia A. Williams, a former tech SaaS executive who led a team of 100 globally remote people through major change, including acquisitions. I share insights like these based on my real-world experiences, not theory. In this video, I'm going to share with you the mistake that leaders make that turn a simple no into a toxic culture. I'll share a mini script that you can use to highlight trade-offs without blaming senior leaders. And I'll also show you how to handle the black box scenario where you have to say no, but you're under NDA, so you can't share the reason why the answer is no. As a middle leader, you have to know how to say no to senior leaders, which I cover in this video. And you have to also know how to manage expectations for your team, which we're about to cover here and now. Let's start with why this goes wrong. When leaders say no without context, the team feels rejected, even when that's not the intent. Over time, people stop bringing ideas because it feels safer to stay quiet. But on the flip side, if you say yes too often, priorities blur, work piles up, and the important initiatives slip. So what do high-performing leaders do instead? They provide the context that the team doesn't have. Here's the approach that I coach my clients through to use instead of defaulting to a flat no. First, review the team priorities. Make the current reality really visible. Second, own the decision. Don't blame someone else or put the burden on the individual to decide what to cut. They don't have the context that you do. You have to lead through decisions based on context, even if you completely disagree. This is where most leaders start to falter. They don't want to be the bad guy, so they say things like, if it were up to me, I'd say yes. Or, I disagree with this, but upper management said no. Shifting blame doesn't make you look like a hero. It makes you look powerless. Part of your role is to align with broader decisions. Your team meeting is not the place to surface your disagreement with senior leadership. Instead, show your team the challenges or conflicts and own the decision. You can say something like this: I love the idea, but to add this right now will put Project X at risk. Given the importance of our role in that project, we'll have to hold this idea for now. We can reevaluate once the current projects are finished and we review our next set of priorities. You see the difference? You aren't blaming management, you're pointing to the goal. You're validating that their idea is good, but you're explaining that the timing contradicts the current mission. Now let's talk about the scenario I mentioned at the start, the hardest one of all, the one where you can't explain why. Maybe it's a confidential acquisition or a sensitive change. If you over-explain, you start rumors. If you say, just trust me, you actually are breaking trust. Here's a script that you can use. Just keep it short and sweet. I can't share the full context behind this decision right now due to confidentiality, as some details are still being worked through. Let's hold this initiative until those details are clear so we don't have to pivot later. That's it. You aren't hinting at drama. You're protecting their time because nobody wants to do work that gets thrown away. By framing the pause as avoiding the pivot, you make that no feel like you're doing them a favor. If the answer is not right now, don't let it vanish. Log it into your one-on-one tracker or put it on a parking lot list. This shows that you respect what's important to them, even if it's something that you can't do right now. I've dealt with this exact scenario multiple times through restructurings, acquisitions, and major company initiatives. And I've seen what happens when leaders try to shift the blame or share details that weren't ready to be shared. But I've also seen the damage from leaders who try to pretend like nothing's happening when the team knows that there's something up. Both approaches feed the rumor mill. They create the kind of back channel chatter that leads to toxicity, disengagement, and eventually resignations. It really is a delicate balance. The most capable leaders understand the role that they need to play when they manage how details are communicated. They don't lie, but they also don't overshare. They hold the line to keep the team focused. Help your team understand the why, and they take pride in knowing that their work matters and that it's part of something bigger. When you dig into the motivation behind surfacing ideas, You start to really understand that knowing that their work matters was the real reason that they mentioned it in the first place. Honor that motivation by giving them the context that they deserve. This is one of the most overlooked leadership skills. It's not just about being nice, it's about using your judgment. And it's something that I work on constantly with leaders in my high-performing leadership mastermind. Because being a great leader isn't about being a hero or a gatekeeper. It's about helping your team think clearly, prioritize well, and stay motivated, even when you can't say yes. The next time you want to say no, don't just shut it down. Use it as a coaching moment. Help your team think it through, and they'll respect you more for it. Now drop a comment if you've ever struggled with saying no to your team, or if you've had a leader who got this really wrong.